Today I'm going to show you a technique for curling your hair and slipping pins in to hold the curls after you let them out of the curling iron, which will help them hold a little bit longer. A few of you mentioned that your curls will fall out after 30 minutes, which is really disappointing after you've put all the time into it. So I've got my hair divided into 3 sections here. I'm just going to do a light mist of hairspray around the bottom section, and I'm using Kenra Volume 25. It's pink because I got it in October, and they do a breast cancer awareness month, but normally the bottle's silver, but it is Kenra Volume 25. So I just did a light mist of hairspray. You don't want to use too much. And I'm just going to do the bottom section. I'm using a smaller curling iron. It's a 1-inch barrel, and it's purple. It's kind of new. And it's by Hot Tools. I really, really like it. So I'm just going to slip a few curls in down here. I don't like to put these in pins just because I don't want these to be super curly. They kind of give a good curl to your hair, but you want them to still be a little bit long so they don't shorten your hair up too much. So I'm just kind of twisting and winding as I go. The temperature is on the highest setting. I like to do my curling iron pretty hot just because it'll help kind of curl quickly, and I'm all about this not taking forever. So I'm putting it in at my root and slowly twisting it out so my ends are the last thing that goes in. And get that all the way down there. Okay, so we've got those bottom curls. I'm going to do a light mist of hairspray while they sit, so don't rake them out at this point. So this middle section is where we're going to introduce the pins. And these are duckbill clips. I sometimes call them pins, but they're clips. Do another light mist of hairspray around the hair. If you don't have Kenra Volume 25, you can use another kind of hairspray. In fact, if you wanted to save your Kenra hairspray for like finishing spray, you could probably use a cheaper hairspray, and you'll get a similar amount of hold and not waste the really good quality stuff on this part. Okay, so we did the curl, and now what we're going to do is just take the clip and clip it up like that. I'll show you that a few more times. I like to take larger sections when I'm using a smaller curling iron to prevent my curls from getting too curly. Of course, if you have a 1.5 inch or 1 1/4 inch curling iron barrel, you can take smaller sections to get a curlier look, so you can kind of flip that around. Alright, so then we're going to take the clip and just kind of spin the curl back up the same way it was in the iron and just clip it right against your head. The back section is always the most difficult. Ooh, I need to comb that out. So I find that it's easier just to kind of pull it one way or the other. Just make sure you twist it enough so you get it pretty close to your scalp. And you can kind of feel your ends so you know how much further you need to go, or unwind it a little bit and twist it. Let that fall. Take another clip, open it, and just slip it in like that. So now we'll do this side over here. This is a good option for anybody with resistant hair, so if your curls fall out for any reason, or if it's like it is here today, which is kind of rainy and muggy, it'll help sort of lock in the style. It's a lot like the bouncy curled under, except vertical. I'm going to drop that out. Alrighty. Always, always, always comb your section before you curl it, or flat iron for any reason. It just smooths the hair through. You'll get a softer finish at the end, and it'll be easier to kind of smooth it out once it's done setting. The reason I leave my ends out of the curls is just to prevent them from looking too ringlety. If you like even a looser wave, you can leave more than just the very ends out. You can see I'm just leaving approximately 1 inch. Sometimes I'll leave about 1.5 inches out. And then other times I'll just include it all. So you can kind of play around with it and see what curl you like. Okay, so we've got all our curls pinned up. Now we'll do this top section. I like to go ahead and part it. And then I like doing a little bit larger sections even on top, so it, again, isn't overly curly. So we're going to do this side, do a light mist of hairspray, and then comb through it again. You don't want your hair to be wet with hairspray if you're going to do this, because it'll sizzle in the iron. It's not a huge deal. I mean, it is doing a little bit more damage to your hair since wet hair is more susceptible to damage anyway. But it's a prettier curl. You don't run the risk of it being crispy and crunchy if you just do a light mist of hairspray. Always curl away from your face, and once you get to the back it doesn't really matter which direction you go, just because they're all going to kind of spin their own way anyway. But the curls right in front of your face, you always want to push those away. So you can see that. Notice I'm leaving the ends out of the clips, and that's partially to kind of keep the curls from being too perfect. If I include the ends, it would probably help curl it up in the ringlet curl, which is what I'm trying to avoid. So it also will help if the bottom of your hair curls fine and it's just the part at your roots that you have trouble with. All you'll need to kind of set in place is the root part of the curl. So if you have longer hair, you could even leave a longer part of the curl out of the clip and just clip the top section to hold that in place, since the bottom isn't an issue for you. This is probably the most awkward curl. I try to do mine right in the center, and I do it a little bit larger, and we'll just kind of rake it out, you'll see at the end, and soften it. But I find that I do need a little extra hold up here, so I normally leave it on for longer. Okay. Now to my resistant side. This side of my hair always either is the first to fall, or I could hold the curling iron on there for an hour and it'll just fall right out. I don't know why, it's just the way it is. So usually whether or not I put hairspray on each section before I curl, I'll usually just hairspray this section because it's a problem area. I styled my bangs before just so they could be done. I have a video tutorial called How to Style Your Bangs with a Flat Iron, which is how mine are styled. Alright, so we've got those curls. And I'm going to just divide this section in half that way. Do this curl away from the face. This is probably the thickest part of my hair on my right side and right in front. So I normally texturize that or use thinning shears whenever I'm cutting my hair to kind of take weight and bulk out of it. And that helps also when I curl my hair, because if I leave it really bulky and heavy, the curls can kind of mesh into like one solid curl, which is not the look I'm going for. See, I got a little bit more of my ends in that one, and that's a little bit curlier than I wanted. I'm just going to go ahead while those are still warm and soften them out. And I'm still going to clip kind of that midsection. Okay, so that's what I did there. And then we've just got this top section. So this is kind of looking like a horizontal section if I were to pull it that way, but I'm going to force it into a vertical section. if you're new to curling your hair, that might not make any sense to you, but it's easier when you're doing vertical curls to take vertical sections. So this would be like a horizontal section, but I'm going to start by putting it in like that, but then kind of twist it, because I want it to go to the right side of my head. And if that doesn't make any sense at all, just forget I even said it. Alright. Putting that in place. Okay, so, this is when you do the twist around the back and you find out the hairs that you left, which for me is this little guy. And I really love that I'm channeling, Martha Washington right now. Not going to be the final look, but you got to do what it takes to get the look you're going for. Okay, so that didn't really need any help with the clip, so I'm just going to let that be. And all the rest of them are looking good. So now, kind of like as if you put hot rollers in your hair, you can do whatever else you need to do. The longer you let these set, the tighter the curl will be and the more it'll hold. So take this time to go do whatever you need to do, and then we'll come back and I'll show you kind of how to rake through it and how to tease curled hair a little bit.